Hey folks, welcome to Crazy Gamer Models. I am the Crazy Gamer and I do models. How's it going? So, you want to build a Panther tank with a full interior. Well, OMG, what are you doing? Look at all these kits. There's just tons of kits here. I mean, this is 9 kits. These are three high. I couldn't even get them all on the camera here. There's 9 kits here. And this isn't even all the kits you can choose from. So, what do you do? How do you start? Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to start and how to get this on. I'm going to get this cleared off, the camera back in position, and we're going to talk about picking that first Panther tank for you to build with a full interior and how to go about getting it accurate. Be back in a second. Okay, I got the desk cleared off here. We're ready to go on picking this Panther. So, what do you want to do? Well, first you want to get yourself a reference photo. And you want to know what kind of tank you want to build. You want to build a Panther. You want to build a full interior. So let's get some photos. This is a great book. It's dirt cheap. It's by Ammo of MiG. It also is a painting guide. It's got great things. It's a visuals modeler's guide. It is all about the Panther, the 171. Now keep that in mind for later because we're going to be talking about a 267. So basically, it's got some history, and then it's got, you know, tons of photos of Panthers in here, you know, and then you got paint schemes, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of paint schemes to choose from. You got G's, D's, and A's, and Zimrit patterns, and just a good book for reference photos. So you want to build a Panther, but you're not quite sure what kind of Panther you want to build. Well, there's some choices out there on Panthers. A lot of people don't know that. There's your standard Panther, like this Panther A Late that we talked about on last week's video on Panther Tank Sunday. That's Panther A Late. You also have your Yagged Panthers. There's a G1, there's a G2, there's with Zimrit, without Zimrit. So there's a lot of varieties of a Yagged Panther. If you're looking for a non-turret, you know, stationary gun, that's your option. You can also do a recovery vehicle. You can get a Burge Panther. This was my first Panther ever built. I built the D version. There's an A, a G, and a D. These are all by Takom. There are other companies that build these. We'll look at some other companies, but they don't have full interiors. These are the ones with the full interiors, guys. So remember, this is part of our criteria. We want to build one with a full interior. So we got Yag Panther, Berg Panther, you know, let's go with a standard Panther. Let's just say, hey, we're gonna build a standard Panther. That's what I want to do. So what do you do then? Let's see. We got from Takom, we got Panther D's, which, you know, there'll be a Sprue review of this later. You know, we got a Panther D here with some Zimrit on it, and then from another company, Ryfield Models, you know, we have another variant of a Panther G this time, and this has got some cool cutaway parts. You can see all the insides of it. It's got a cool thing on there. Ryfield Models also makes a Panther G with a clear turret and top hull plate. So if you're into the G's, Takom also makes a Panther G. They make one with the optional steel wheels. And they also have a newer one that came out earlier this year with infrared sighting systems, and it has air defense armor, so it's got some extra plating over the engine and things like that. So, and then you have the Panther A, which is, you know, the most of them were Panther A's, and you have, you know, the late, like we looked at. You can get a mid-late, you know, A with Zimrit. We're going to talk about that one in a minute. And then, you know, they have a mid-early, and then they have an early. So, you know, what do you want to do? What do you want to build? It's basically what you want to build. So, what I did with this this thing, I wanted to make it a little bit easier. So, I said I want to build a command tank. And I touched on this in last week's Panther Tank Sunday. that I wanted to build a command tank. So if I look at my kits that I have that are out there for Panther A's, they're going to be a mid to late production, and it's going to be a command tank. So I have two options here. I have this Panther A mid to late production Zimmerit with full interior, 2-in-1, so it could be the 267 or the 171. And then also what we looked at last week on, you know, picking everything and choosing our stuff, you can do the 171 or 267 out of this. And you know, these are two kits. I mean, you could build a mid model from this one, and this one has the Zimmerit, and the Zimmerit on this is quite fantastic. I mean, it looks very hand done, as you can see there. It looks very hand done and field applied. Let's see if I can zoom in on it and show you what it looks like. I mean, this is a very nice Zimmerit pattern. It's better than the Zimmerit pattern that comes in the photo etch kit that I'm adding to the Panther A I picked. But you know, I wanted to do the photo etch thing to show people what was going on. So I went, you know, I found a photo etch kit, which is from Big Ed, from Edard. It's a Big Ed kit. So it kind of pretty much eliminates this one from me, because I already have the Zimmerit. You know, I could add the photo etch to this and then just use the Zimmerit on the hull, but I have another plan for this tank right here. I've already have another plan for this, and you'll see that in an upcoming video, what I'm going to do with this. But that leads me to this right here, back to the one we talked about last week. So now I have, you know, I picked what I wanted here, and I got me a 267, and you know, we went through the book last week showing what options to pick and how to build it. And, you know, I got all my sprues there. I got my photo etch. I got my photo etch in that I picked out. Probably in this stack right here. Yep, there. And I got, you know, my photo etch for it all ready to go. I printed out my instructions for my photo etch, because it does come with instructions, but you can print them out and they're on A4 paper. Just get yourself a ream of A4 paper if you're here in America, and it prints them out full size, and you got no problems trying to figure out where parts go. So you got your Panther. There you go. So we're gonna take a look into this here, and we're gonna talk about adding photo etch kits to things. So let us look here. So, and I hope you guys liked the teaser video for the North Carolina. It is an upcoming build. There's going to be a step-by-step process. There will be photo etch add-on kits. There will be gun upgrade kits. It's just, there'll be a ton of stuff that is added on to that North Carolina. So check that out. It's going to be a Thursday thing. So now back to the Panther. So, you know, I'm going to build a Panther A. But what if you don't want to build a Panther A? What if you want to build a Yag Panther and you don't have any information on it? That's why I recommend this book right here. For Panther tanks, I recommend this book. This company, Haynes Publishing, they make for Tigers. They make, I actually have the Tiger tank. And it talks about all the variants and things like this. And I mean, you could flip through here and you can come in here and come to the beginning here, and then right here, which starts with the Panther D, which is the first variant. Talks about how many were built, talks about where they were built, the numbers that were built there, all the identifying features of a D. So you can look through here, figure out what year you wanted, and say, hey, I want to do a D. Here's what I want it to look like. So you find a kit that meets those standards, and then, you know, you can build it to the specs of what you know it was designed to be. Here's a nice D picture you could use as a reference. For a TACCOM kit, you'd have to do some reworking of the fenders here, or the side skirts. But basically, you know, here's there. Okay, so you don't want to do a Panther A. You want to do a Panther D. You want to do a Panther A. Well, right here is the Panther A, the 171, and that's what all those kits are. So basically all the information on a Panther A, number of productions, 2,200 were built. It talks about the Zimmerit, how the Zimmerit was applied, talks about exhaust, and then moves on to the Panther G. So say you want to build a Panther G. So you have your reference photos here of some Panther Gs. This is a good photo because it has the steel wheels, which I think is kind of rare. I haven't seen a lot with steel wheels. And then here we go, we talk about some alterations to the, this is the Panther D turret. So there's stuff throughout everything. But right now here is more of your Panther G. Now this Panther G has the rubber road wheels on it. So keep that in mind. It talks about, you know, when stuff was added. So a little bit more Gs were built than As. There was almost 3,000 Gs and 2,200 As. So the Gs were made a little bit more. They're made in 3 factories. And you have all the different changes to a G. And then you have primary changes. And then now you can talk into Panther variants here. So I built a Panther. So what's other Panther type things I can do? So this talks about the command tanks. This talks about the 267 and the 268. That is your command tanks. It has the extra radio gear in the turret. So so then we got more about the 267, which is what we're building. We went over that. And then it talks about with the infrared capability on the Panther, talking about how they added this to certain models, and it was designed for the 251 or the 251/20, and it was called an OWL. So if you get the TACOM makes a G kit with this IR system on there, you could build that, and then you could actually, if you wanted to, do some modifications to a kit and build one of these Fs that were supposed to be built. You know, different things like that. I don't believe any Fs were constructed. Yeah, only a few prototypes were built of the F. So they had interleaved all steel road wheels and mounted a G turret. So the number of completed turrets were brought back to the US and the UK. So now we talk about some more variants. We talk about the Burge Panther 179. So it talks about, you know, the recovery vehicles. You know, there's the D, the A, and the G. It talks, you know, there's some design looks of it here. And, you know, we got, you know, here's a nice one. That's a G. That's a nice G up in this picture right here. And some a nice Burge Panther pulling a tank with no track on it. So here's some more pulling some stuff, some G's. So there's some nice stuff on the Burge Panther. And then now we come into the Yag Panther stuff, the 173. And it talks about, you know, all the different armor on it. And it talks about, you know, there's 419 built. You know, MIAG built 270, MNH built 112, and MBA built 37. So they weren't built in the traditional Panther plants. So, and then you got your Yag Panther. So that's, you know, another variant. It's got all your information in there. Talks about the ornament. And then, you know, goes in there. And then if you want some more information, you can go into the anatomy of a Panther. It talks about the torsion bars, the different armors on the different models, suspension systems, how the torsion bars and the interleaved wheels worked. And then basically tons of photos. I mean, there's just tons of photos, a diagram that tells you what every part is. So it lays out everything, what it is. So there's that. Then it talks about the interior hull. You got your Maybach engine. It's going to talk about, here's a nice look at the rear engine compartment. You know, and you can see that this looks like a lot of the engine compartments that are on the Panthers I'm building on the channel. Now we're looking at the gearbox, and you know, it even talks about how they could turn, and it's fantastic. Crew compartment, everything you could need about doing research on a Panther. And here is some color photos of some Panthers and tank museums. Here's some with the IR system, some with Zimrit. So you have all these fantastic reference photos. You got tools, you got the fire extinguisher, you got the sea hooks. It's just plentiful knowledge here of, here's a crew compartment heater. I think the crew compartment heater was fantastic. I wish the Panther A kits from TACOM came with the option of the crew compartment heater. At least the late versions, because they would have had access to that. So I wish they would have had that on their Panther A late kits. It'd be nice to have. Then you got Panther at War, you know, all these photos here. So basically, I mean, you can go through here with one book. I mean, you can just get one book, you know, $15, $16, check it out at the library for free, and you can pick what you want to photocopy some pages. I don't know if that's legal or not. Don't do what I say on that, because that may not be legal. But you can basically pick what you want to do for a Panther, and then you can search for kits. Now, when you're looking for a kit, you can go online and you can search websites for, you know, different kits you want. I'll let you know, TACOM and Ryefield Models make the full interior kits for Panthers. I know that. Ryefield pretty much makes the G's. TACOM makes the A's, D's, G's, a bunch of different A's. They make the Berg Panther, the Yag Panther, all with full interiors. And, you know, pick the kit you want. And then before you get the kit, check out what the sprues look like. Whether you check it out on a website that shows you all the sprues, or you check it out on, you know, YouTube, watching somebody do sprue reviews. Like all these Panther kits, there's a sprue review on my channel for. You can see what all the sprues look like, see what the parts look like, and you can see if is that my level of modeling skills. Can I put these little parts together? Am I able to paint this? Or even maybe you don't want to paint it. Maybe you just want to build a model just to build a model. You know, I'm building a King Tiger for a review. You know, I'm just building it. I'm not gonna put any paint on it, but I'm still doing all the build process that I would do if I were to paint it. So you do that, or maybe you find and I lost it now. Maybe you find a kit, a photo etch kit, and you like the photo etch of this. You know, maybe you don't want to do a full interior. Maybe you just want to do the outside of a Panther. You go with a Tamiya kit. Tamiya makes a great Panther kit. There are a lot of kits out there that don't have interiors that are great kits, and all the research would be the same. You just use that. You pick what you want, and you just do up the outside. But I like to focus on full interiors. They take a little bit longer, a little more detail. I feel like I'm getting my money's worth in the kit. Maybe this is how I got to my command tank. I found this photo etch kit, and this is my second photo etch kit of this, and it had this interior kit that has the full interior and the radios for the command tank. So I figured, well, that's what I want to do. I want to build a command tank. So I wanted to build mine off of basically having this photo etch and build my Panther this way. So that's what I did. So that's how I ended up picking the kit that I picked, this this Panther A Late kit, which I'm already doing a painted version of this. This one's going to be taught, and that's going to have the photo etch in it also. This is just going to be a build showing you how the photo etch works, and you know, building a kit. And when you get to the photo etch, you're gonna have all this separate. You know, this is all the photo etch printouts for this photo etch kit, and you're gonna have these instruction books. So you're gonna have to go through and find out what is photo etch and what is not photo etched, because you can't just build it and then try to put the photo etch on. You have to integrate the two. So that's basically what you're going to need to do. And before we start the build on this, we're going to talk about that. So you want to build a Panther. You done your research. You got a reference book, or you checked a reference book out at the library. You picked the tank you want. Say you picked the command tank. And if you watch starting your first model from last week's Panther Tank Sunday, it'll tell you everything in order of going through the instruction book to pick the tank that you chose. And the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to wash all your sprues. Clean them in some soapy water. I re-bag all my sprues like this in Ziploc baggies with the letter written on them, so I can you know, get them out, so if any piece falls off, it stays in the Ziploc bag, and I always have it. And then I shrink the sprues down as I go. But after you get the sprues cleaned and you get them organized however you want to organize them, then you want to get out your instructions for your photo etch, and you want to get out your instructions for your tank you're going to build. And that is where I'm going to leave it for this week. Next week we are going to either work on this, or we're going to actually do some work on the painted Panthers. So I'm going to leave it here on this, and you now know how to pick your first Panther tank. Go out there, do some research, get some reference photos, find the tank you want, find the kit you want, and then you will have all the information you need. You watched last week's video on how to start your first model. If it's a multi-option kit, how to pick the right options you need for your reference photos or the tank you want to build. And then you're all set. You get some photo etch, and you can watch the next video, and you can learn how to integrate photo etch into your instruction manual, so when you come to things, you know to jump to the photo etch. And that's going to do it for this Panther Tank Sunday. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you guys for stopping by. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you.